Whiteman Foster Care actually started in January of 1992. I was a case manager for the girls in the residential program, and we had girls living at Sanmar who didn't need to be in a group home. They would have done great in a foster home, in a family. So our thought was, if we can become a child placement agency, we can find families for the girls in the program and match them. And I always loved connecting kids with families who they felt good about being around. So I asked to be moved into the position of beginning to help develop the program. And now it's been 30 years. And we have worked with kids of all ages, kids from all over the state. And I've seen them flourish. I've seen them struggle. I've seen families struggle. But in the end, kids maintain their connection with those families even after they age out. And that ultimately is the success story, that they feel that these families are support families to them when they leave. I used to have a foster mom call me every morning at 7:30 in the morning just to vent, just to let me know what it feels like to have that child in her home. And that's what it takes, because these kids' lives don't end at 5 o'clock, and certainly not at 5 o'clock on Friday. They need to know that someone's there supporting them, because it's hard to be in somebody else's home. God prepared me because my husband and I couldn't have children, and we thought, adoption is the way to go. So we actually adopted a 2.5-month infant in 1979 from Washington County. She taught me more than I ever wanted to learn as she went through her adolescence and late teen years. So she was my trainer. My husband only wanted 2 children. I wanted about a dozen. And I think God gave me Sanmar, and it was even a better fit because I could work with the kids, but I didn't have to cook for them and I didn't have to clean. So that was perfect. After we were at Sanmar, we became foster parents with Washington County DSS and took a girl in from Sanmar into our home. It didn't last a long time, but she took us on as her parents, and a year later we stood in as mom and dad when she got married. And so that, again, was a good learning experience, so that I know what it feels like to have another child in your home that's not your own, and know that it's going to be wonderful, and it's going to be the worst nightmare of your life. But if you don't give up, it pays off.
I was 14 and I didn't want to come to see anyone. I was like, it's Washington County, it's so far away. No, I wanted to stay close to home. And that was something I always wanted. So I had an interview with one of the foster parents, and it went well. I couldn't say anything else. And she was like, do you want to come over to my house? And I said, no. I kind of had my mind of, I don't want to be here. It's so long of a drive. All I see is trees and nothing else. And that was a very different environment for me. I refused to get in the car, and I sat on a bench. I remember 2 trees in front of me, and I was like, I'm not moving from here. Eventually, my social worker at that time went in and talked to the staff and said, does anybody can talk some sense into this girl? Please come out and help me. So one of the staff came out and she had a conversation with me. She was like, this is not a forever thing. This is more of a temporary thing, and we're going to figure it out. Like, they're there to help you. So I was like, fine, I'll get in. So I ended up getting in the car and didn't say a word at all. But I wouldn't get out the car when I hit the placement where I was staying. And my foster mom comes out and she just starts talking to me, making me feel welcome. So eventually I ended up stepping out, and I was like, this is not going to be forever. Well, it ended up turning out for a while. I'm still there. I'm still being a part of the family. So when I first had an interview with a case manager, she said, "You tell me everything you want in a parent, and you tell me everything you don't want." And I was like, this feels weird because that's not something that is asked. And I was like, well, I definitely want a mom and dad at home, and I would like to be a little independent, and being able to go into that home and being able to give me a little bit of leeway on, oh yeah, you can do this, and getting involved with the community and school was something that she was passionate and I was also. So she was always there no matter what. If I had a softball game, I remember she was my first fan out there, and it was nice. It was just, I would say it was like just how it was meant to be. I've really never had anybody by my side that wasn't, I knew they were there, but they weren't supportive. And to me, it was surprising how strangers wanted the best for me. And at first, I wasn't willing to give in. I was like, no, I can do it myself, because that's kind of how I lived most of my life. I can do it myself. I'll get there even if I have to crawl. But once I started letting people in, it was nice. It was like, oh, they're there for me no matter what. And I knew if I ever needed something, I could always reach out to my case manager and said, this is going on. And it didn't have to be something such as material wise, or it was more of emotional at times. That's what I needed. And she stood there no matter what.